Hi guys, if it's Tuesday, it's Down and Dirty Woodscraft. Stay with me. Okay guys, today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Usually when we think of woodscraft, bushcraft, we're talking about primitive skills. And for the vast majority that's true. But at the same time there's also a little bit of engineering and physics that comes in. I call it Woodsy engineering or Woodsy physics, but we'll just call it Woodsy engineering. It's how you're applying kind of modern science to the woods. And it's how things pull, how things flow, how things move. Back in the day it just was. Today we know scientifically how to explain it. But today I want to give you a little example of that. We're going to talk about the lowly little tent stake. Now this is something I see a lot of people have a lot of trouble with. And so let me explain a few things. Now it doesn't matter what kind of stake you're talking about, whether it's this flimsy little steel stake, an ABS stake, or whatever, most of this will apply directly. Okay? And to make it fast and easy, we're going to use a dry erase board just to make it fast and easy. Alright, a common problem I see is a misunderstanding of how the stake holds a load. Okay? So here is your ground level. Here is the direction of the load. They drive the stake straight down in the ground like that, and then they hook their rope to it. Well, I guess I ought to hook the eye up a little bit better. Then they hook the rope to it. Now all the forces here, this force is exerting that way, that's the load, and all of it is being held right here in this little area. It's not holding it that well, because as the load pulls, this shifts off the vertical and it becomes a up and out as it wants to slide out of the hole. See? Okay. So we don't want that energy of sliding out. So we want to put that way. Here is the direction. We want to put our stake this way at like a 45 degree to it. That way the load is actually trying to lift this hunk of dirt directly in front of it. It's trying to bend the stake through the dirt rather than pulling it out of the dirt like a pin. There's hardly any strength for the stake to be pulled straight out. And then you know that when you grab it and pull it out of the ground. It's pulling it sideways, so we need to stake it at an angle like that. Now how this also applies is where you position your stake can make or break what you're doing. Let's say you've got a tree here, you've got a tree here, here's your ridge line, and here is your rectangular tarp strung up on that ridge line. If you come straight off the four corners like that, what that does is it takes the load and it wants to make the tarp slide down the ridge line. It creates a soft space in these two parts of the tarp, which is a V, and the rain wants to fall out there and it wants to flop in the middle. That's not good. So what we want to do is make a pyramid. Now that's what I call it. Here's your tree, there's your ridge line, and then there is your tarp. Instead of staking straight out, we want to come off that point like we're trying to connect to this point over here. So it's a X running across the ridge of the tarp to that far point. This spreads the load over 4 points instead of just 2. And so these 4 sets, the 2 top are held up by the ridge line, the 2 middle are under tension sideways as well as being tensed to the top. So by setting it up like this, it doesn't flop. It holds it, and in a heavy downpour, all 4 corners will evenly droop rather than right in the middle it sags down and touches you in the hammock or whatever. and runs off into one thing. It evenly spreads out the load and it evenly spreads out the water. That's the basic idea of it. Now, suppose you need to stake, and I need it to hold a lot of weight for whatever reason. I'm trying to lower something down this steep face or something like that. You can double or triple stake. So here's my rope coming from my load to my first stake right there, and it's set at a 45-degree angle. Then what I do is I go out here and I put 2 additional stakes and run a rope around the first stake and back to that, so it forms a triangle, driving in these 2 stakes also at 45 degrees. That's greatly increased it. I'm going to lower me down this cliff face. I will then come down here and I will drive 3 more stakes like that. This is how the U.S. Army taught them in World War II to spread the load. Now this is an extreme case, but what it's showing is the fact that staking is a little bit of physics. It is a little bit of Woodsy engineering. Doing it correctly makes your life easy. Doing it incorrectly makes it trouble. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, I'm Blackie Thomas for Shaman's Forge Woodcraft. Wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.